And like Anthony said, at some point in your life, you start questioning whether, is what I'm doing really right? Because one of the things I started seeing is the harm I was causing. Because I started believing that, no one goes into a relationship where the end goal or your end thoughts or the vision that you have for that relationship is for you to cause harm.
Yeah.
Yet somehow, along the way in this relationship, you feel the need to try and reinforce your power over that particular person.
Yeah.
And I think, a key area or a theme that stood out in that workshop was the question around, when you're seeing this woman, she is someone's mother. She could be someone's mother. She could be someone's aunt. She could be someone's sister, someone's, niece.
Yeah.
And for
the
me,
breadwinner, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, when they brought in that reality,
Yeah.
I immediately started thinking of, my younger sister. Would I have allowed my sister to date the man that I was back then? And obviously, growing up, you would see, boys as they're growing up taking an interest in your sister.
Yeah.
And men, for some weird reason, we are very defensive when it comes to our sisters.
Very much, yeah.
It's the guy thing.
Yet we are very quick to go and sort of, violate other
Somebody else's sister.
Another man's sister.
without thinking about it. But
Yeah.
the things I'm doing now could also be happening with my sister.
Exactly.
And then for me, immediately, how I was raised by my mother's then kicked in. Is it fair? Is it really fair to say that, when a woman has multiple partners, she loses value? Does she really lose value?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. Or in an equal society, one would say, if she loses value, then so do I.
Yeah.
And an important sort of realization for me was the fact that, I started realizing that if I am having multiple partners, then I should be okay with my partner also entertaining the idea
Yeah.
and the ability for her to also have multiple partners.
Yeah.
Because why is it that I am allowed the privilege to do so, yet she's not allowed that privilege to do so?
Yeah.
So therefore, if I want to be in a committed relationship, then I myself should be committed as well.
Absolutely.
And then I realized, through this process, that I realized that often men, there's an issue. I've always believed that men, the way we've been brought up, has actually made us to become, to develop, it's like almost men have a lower emotional quotient, EQ, than women.
Yeah.
That's why we see that women have the ability to deal with trouble sometimes, yet when men would experience those similar experiences, they would resort to committing suicide or doing harm to themselves.
Yeah.
And so I realized, but I need to learn to become emotionally intelligent. And that for me took that process of, okay, I attended this workshop. Can I have a conversation with someone else about these issues?
Yeah.
Like what Anthony is saying, can I seek out counseling so I can have a deeper process of introspection for myself to figure out, but who am I really? Who's this James as this person, and who do I want to become?
Exactly. Thank you for that. Anthony, you wanted to add on that as well?
No, just to echo what James says and my brother here. As we are talking, we are facing ourselves.
Yeah.
And to take a mirror and look into yourself. Because when we project these violences, emotional, financial, and physical violences, we see it outside. But we try to take time and look at each of ourselves.
Exactly.
Trust me. When James told me I'm going to be here, I couldn't sleep last night. I was crying. Not like crying. I was thinking of all the moments. Now I have 2 boys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
So if I don't deal with myself and literally transform, what are my 2 boys and my 2 girls watching?
Yeah.
Because eventually, what I might be doing to my wife or the person I'm with, what is going to happen to the children?
Absolutely.
To the 2 girls.
Yeah.
So I need to begin to challenge myself and look forward. Says, where do I start now?
Yeah.
Because whatever I am, even if I was formed by my father and the society, I need to begin to challenge those norms. I begin to change those norms for the sake of my children.
Yeah.
That is the greatest
And
battle.
I
at the
absolutely
moment.
love, gentlemen, what you've mentioned now. It's having that self-reflection, getting to that realization. You know, so many a times, the unfortunate is that you find the perpetrator not being in a position where he gets to really have true reflection within himself to realize that. Can we maybe, just from your side, how, if you were in a violent situation, are there basic steps that one can say, you know what, I can seek help? Because culturally, because you also brought up culture from the beginning, is that culturally it's believed black men don't seek help. Black men do not share their issues. We deal with the issues at home. I'm the man of the house. You're the woman. My rules. That's it. And also bringing to the notion, I am who I was raised by.
You know what, Adriano, you've mentioned something very important when you said that it's a self-reflection. And I have to be very, very honest here, and I believe James and my brother here will agree with me that self-reflection comes with a price. It's not easy when you're talking about society. How society views. We are talking about challenging the societal norms that are existing at the moment. They are not in the past, they are still existing. And if I have to make an example of myself, I'll be very honest. One of my traits, I'm in the field of advocacy. And my change is, I didn't change 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I changed about 2 years ago and the first time when I started realizing and reflecting to myself is after I attended a gender-based violence training, a trainer to trainee, where I was a trainee to become a trainer. And during that training, I started reflecting to myself and actually looking at who am I? And you are picking up things, you are being trained on things that are so hard to accept because in Afrikaans we say it's like a warm aardappel because you have to swallow that hot potato, knowing that you are going to change from the person that you've been brought up to be to this person that wants to create a safe society and respect women and see women as equal. It's something very, very difficult because you are going to have to put up with criticism and discrimination and stigma from your friends that see you as a man, that will call you names because you do not let a woman sit on your head. And some of these friends or society will see that some of these things or see if you allow a woman to be in a safe space, they see it as weakness.
Can I just interject it? Because I want to ask, does that really come from, you know, having to swallow hierdie warm aardappel? Does it really come from, you know, I'm scared of what my friends would think, or is it the legacy of the patriarchy because of your father and that you come from royalty? And traditionally and culturally as well, because you come from a home where it was about the matriarch, and your mom had different forms of, you know, disciplining you. But is it really to say, I've made this decision, but as hard as it's to swallow, I don't want to disappoint this legacy of the man that I've become, and I've been known as this man. Is that something that is linked to our ego as men?
I don't, to be honest, I really don't. Well, personally for me, I don't think that was part of the conversation for me. For me, it was more about having to face my demons, literally. Having to sit there and reflect back and to think about all these women in my past who I have traumatized, who I have caused harm. And to start actually, you know, when you start facing those demons, then you start realizing that I've caused a lot of harm. And oftentimes as men, we don't want to admit it. I mean, no one wants to admit that they've done something wrong because we always want to see ourselves in the better light. And I think that process of transformation first has to come to a point where you realize, you know what, I've actually caused a lot of harm. In some instances, I've tried to go back and make amends and apologize.
I was about to ask that.
For that process in terms of the harm that you have caused. And then to really then start this journey And, you know, a process of change is not a smooth process. I think a lot of people assume that, oh, you become a transformed man and then that's it.
Yeah.
I think I've had many, you know, up and down hills. It's been like a very like a curvature that would go up and down the whole time. But in as much as I'm going up and down, if you pull sort of a trajectory, it's still headed to a process of growth.
Yeah.
So even though I would get myself at times where I would, you know, fall and perhaps make a mistake, or I had a conflict with my wife recently, and I, you know, in that conflict, things were said.
Yeah.
Then immediately, because of my transformation, I'm able to sit down and reflect and realize, but I actually caused my partner psychological harm right now. I need to go and deal with this process.
Yeah.
And then you become very quick to go back to your partner, to sit and to have a conversation where you literally apologize and say, you know what I had said and what I had done had actually caused you psychological harm.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, that process would never have occurred. I would have never thought about it.
Yeah.
So for me, that process of transformation is not so much about pleasing my friends, because you realize that this is a journey that at the end of the day will benefit me the most. It benefits my partner, and then it benefits my children.
Absolutely.
Right? My friends, fine, they're my friends. We can try and have the conversations. Those that really see the journey and want to become transformed, we need to encourage and promote. And I think where I have failed personally in this journey is the fact that I don't question or hold my friends accountable. And we don't have processes of accountability enough in our friendship circles.
Awesome. Anthony, from you?
As much as there are a few minutes left, I'll just say what James said. Seeking help and asking for apology in terms of how we have been raised, like men being in charge. Those are some of the battles as a man I had to deal with, and I think most men out there are dealing with.
Exactly.
Seeking help and apologizing to make amends. Not just apologizing for the sake of apologizing, but to ensure that my apology, I meant it and I bring action of transformation. That's what I mean. When you apologize, you have to bring actions that shows that you are remorseful and you are willing to change. So that is some of the things that I challenge myself all the time. And because I was brought up in a society where a man has an ego. You want, whatever wrong you do, you don't want to apologize. You just walk away. But that doesn't fix the problem.
Absolutely.
So I just want to end up there because of time.
Because of time, from you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I know where I can see where James is coming from, but what I don't want to walk away from is that society plays a very important role into our lives. And when you're talking about society, you're talking about where a lot of men are today who are even listening and watching. That you need to escape that society and become a different man. But to escape it, and society is not the community where you are from, it's your family also. So if you are brought up in a family that you need to be the man. You need to have the village wife and you need to have the town wife. It's still like that. So until we change society, until we bring this conversation into society, it will be very difficult for men to come out and actually say, look, I have done wrong. I see this is wrong and I want to become a better person. It's very difficult.
Exactly. Gentlemen, in conclusion, I am how I was raised. Starting with you, James.
Look, I think, how you've been parented influences a lot in terms of your character, your personality. But unless you go through a process of reflection, unless you seek help, being able to change becomes very difficult. I strongly believe that men that grow up in violent households have an increased likelihood for themselves later on in life to become perpetrators of violence. And the only way to try and break that sort of cross-generational transfer of violence is to have these men go through these types of conversations where they can reflect and go back to their childhood and experience. But I was raised in this way, but is that really what I want to be?
Adriano, James has unpacked everything. I'm going to say, so what I'm going to say is I'm glad I have escaped from who I was brought up to be. and I'm very happy. You've mentioned choice. I've taken the choice or made the decision to move towards who I want to be in society. So I'm glad I escaped from who I was brought up to be, and moving towards a different direction. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Made that choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
It's a good
Thank you.
and these are the conversations we should be having. You know,
Yeah.
Dude, tap yourself on the shoulder and say, well done.
Yes.
Exactly. Anthony, from your side.
Yeah, I think it's a process, and
Yeah.
it's never-ending process. When you look at growth and transformation, change, it's never-ending process. As much as we are on this level, I've confronted a lot of demons within me that at times I cry, and every time I'm seeking change to ensure that my home and my children, my wife or my partner is actually very happy. It's a transformation process. Now, I should acknowledge I have been also abused.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to seeking help and apologizing.
Yeah.
So again, these are transformational process where as men, I need my brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Somebody I can say, can I call on you?
Yeah.
Because there are times, I'm just being honest. Last
Yeah.
night, thinking about this today,
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep. I was crying.
Yeah.
But I need somebody I can be able to hold. To say, can I come? Can I call
Yeah.
on you? Can I count on you? Right now, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I need a brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. It's really been great just unpacking and having conversations with you.
Yeah.
Also to you, please join us on our Facebook page. Also, if there's counseling that you need to get in touch with us. It's right on our Facebook page. We'll also be sharing and having more conversations, men engagement. Thank you so much to Regain Trust, also United Nations Population Fund, and then of course Men Engagement Namibia. We will be having a new topic again within our next episode, and thank you for tuning in. And also, gentlemen, I'd love to have coffee again. Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
Thank
cup
you.
of coffee. Yes.
Another cup of coffee.
To warm us up.
My
Huh?
side. Thank you so much.
OTV's everyone's favorite place this festive. A place of assurance, a place of acceptance and great teachings where friendships mean everything and where you find love in its purest form. GoTV's everyone's favorite place this festive with plenty of fun for the whole family. Get your GoTV decoder, GoTena, and a month of the best of local and international entertainment on GoTV Max from as little as 399 Namibian dollars. Download my GoTV app to easily manage your account on the go. GoTV. Love it.
India's Ranthambore Reserve in Rajasthan is home to the rare Bengal tigers. Every year, John Isaac, an Indian-born photographer, travels from New York City to document the lives of these majestic animals.
In the last 10 years, I think my interest has grown tenfold, and I'm very particular about the survival of the tigers.
His goal is to make sure that people everywhere know about the grave danger Bengal tigers face: extinction. John holds seminars and photographic exhibitions from his visits to Ranthambore to raise awareness of the plight of these tigers. He's currently working on a book to document their dilemma due to an increasing human population encroaching on their territory. According to John and wildlife experts, each tiger needs as much as 9 square kilometers to survive, just under 4 square miles. The relationship between tigers and people has always been difficult, but now, with much less territory to roam, tigers often wander into human settlements.
The conflict between the villagers and the tigers has always been there, and then government tries to compensate. If a tiger kills a goat or a cow, they pay a certain amount to the villagers.
In the past, tigers used migration corridors or routes followed by wildlife for travel between summer and winter habitats. Now these pathways have been taken over by people who use them as living quarters and to reap firewood.
We are trying to work with the communities living around and trying to reduce their forest dependency so that we can conserve this corridor patch for the smooth and easy movement of tigers.
Jamuna Devi, a farmer, lives near one of the migratory corridors. She used to depend on the forest for grazing pastures. Now, thanks to a World Wildlife Fund initiative, Jamuna no longer needs to rely on the forest for her family's survival. The secret? Introducing new alternative crops closer to her home.
गई साल बोया हमने खुद ने, और ये तो अभी यही साल बोया है। ये आया होया कांदा है हम 25 रोज को तो तारीख को तो बोया ही है, और रोज गाँव में अंतर तो आगा भूलने लगा.
The success of this project has led to even more changes. Jamuna decided to plant fodder for her cattle on her excess land to further preserve the habitat of the tigers. She has also switched to cooking gas so that she doesn't have to collect forest wood for fuel.
जंगल में सब दुनिया ने जब छोड़ दिया तो सब बे होगी, कोई काम नहीं करा, लकड़ी को भी नहीं करा, जंगल में जाने से भी परेशान है दुनिया. गैस भेज दिया सबन के घर घर में, वे सभी सिलेंडर पकड़ते हैं और रुपया को कोई समझते ही नहीं है. अब भीतर भरा लावा.
Climate change also has a direct impact on the habitat of tigers.
The last 2 or 3 years, they say, there's been a drought. The rains have not been regular.
Climate change is a serious problem in this country, even it's in the continent. So keeping these forest areas alive and protected is the only solution. This year we have raised a nursery of 10,000 saplings. Forest department have shown their interest. They bought around 2,000, 3,000 saplings.
The idea is to plant new trees to replace those lost to severe weather conditions and human activity. Poaching used to be a major threat to Bengal tigers, but thankfully the number of big cats killed by poachers has plummeted due to measures implemented by law enforcement agencies, resulting in less demand for tiger products. especially the introduction of camera traps and digital apps, which automatically take photos of moving tigers and suspicious persons moving around in the forest.
Every time I hear something like that, I feel so good. In some ways, some things are working. And so this is what drives me to come and do this. In my lifetime, if the tigers are extinct, I don't know how I'll handle that.
This report was produced by Mary Ferreira for the United Nations.
Say Jesus. Shine on me, Lord. Keep shining on me, Lord. You are the light. Come on, say Jesus. Shine on me. Oh yes, keep shining. You are the light. Jesus. Keep shining on me. Shine on me. For you are the light. King Jesus. Shine on me. Keep shining. Shining. You are. You are. Jesus, you are the light. Hide on me. Jesus, you are. You Lord, I thank you, Jehovah. I give you all the Lord.